What's up guys, so today you're gonna see how the true process on how a Scratch project is made. It's literally just a tutorial. So let's delete this sprite. Also note, this is not the default sprite when you open a Scratch project, or like when you open a new Scratch project. It's just a sprite that I already pre-madely created for a previous tutorial I was supposed to make, and then yeah, it's trash. So this is just a beginner tutorial first. So let's more likely just focus on the yeah, you know what? Since this is a tutorial, I'm gonna show you the true process. So first, make a sprite, because how are you supposed to make a game or anything with a sprite? Oh, sure, you can make something with the background if you want, but then this is a tutorial for beginners, and it might be hard for some beginners to actually like make a game or something like that in Scratch, to like make something with the background. So what you're gonna do is to make a sprite. Of course, you can just either make your own sprite, like edit the costume or like that, or like edit a drawing, or you can just select the pre-mades already. I'm gonna select this banana. Okay, yeah. So now that you got your sprite, I'm gonna explain the code stuff. So these blue coding blocks are the motion blocks. It modifies the movement of your sprite. For example, if I make this code, first when I click the green flag, it will first make the sprite move 10 steps and then rotate 15 degrees, which means when I spam the green flag, it'll do this. It'll do that funny thing. Alright, so next is the looks block. It will modify how does the sprite look like. For example, this block, it just makes the sprite say anything you insert in this empty space. And we also have these two blocks that modify the costume number, or the costume that's specifically on the screen of. Alright, so let me explain it. So these two blocks, the next costume and the switch costume to bananas block, well, it could literally be any costume name or whatever. So these modify like the costume. For example, let's make like whatever. Yeah, let's just use that for example. And so this will switch the costume to whatever costumes are in the sprite, which means when, for example, if I go to this testing costume, it'll load that costume. It will make that sprite load in that costume and put it on the screen. Next costume just load. Well, that just loads it to the next costume and display it. Yeah. We could get onto these blocks later, but then let's just skip that, and also this and this. And these blocks just change the size, the set size and the change size. Yeah. Next are these sound blocks. By the way, these you only use if you ever want to use the sound category, if you just want to add sound into your projects. That's literally it. Next are the events blocks. So remember when I added this when green flag click block? That belongs into the events category, where there's also more blocks like the when space key pressed and the when sprite clicked. We will focus on these three event blocks first, because why not? And it's the most simplest one out of all of the event blocks. We will get into the broadcast like in another video or something like that, I don't know. So since we already know what does the when green flag click block do, we will focus on the when blank key pressed block does. So basically, you can put in a you can put in a keyword into the space thingy, and when you selected it and put code onto it, when you press that specific key on the one key press block, it will make that code happen. Next is the when sprite click block. It basically just makes the code of the sprite do its thing when you click on it. Just like that. Yeah. Next is the control blocks. I meant to say this is where we can act. This is the most interesting thing in the coding blocks and stuff like that. So we're gonna be focusing on this one because I don't want to make this video too long for a beginner that's learning Scratch. Anyway, so remove these. That's too complex for a beginner. Let's just focus on these. So this block called the wait blank seconds block basically makes the sprite do something or just wait for how many seconds. For example, let's say let's make it do this code, and so let's make it do like this code. Did you see that? It makes this code happen after 1 second. So that's basically what the wait block typically does. Next is, why do I feel like I accidentally thrown? Oh my. Alright, so next is the repeat blocks, aka the repeat blocks and the forever blocks. So the repeat blocks makes the code happen for any amount that you put in this space here amount of times, and the forever block just makes it does the code infinitely. Next is the clone block. Anyways, next is the create clone of blank block. So it basically just makes a clone of itself. I mean, this block technically just makes a clone of either itself or a different sprite. We'll get onto that later on the next video or something like that. Next is the sensing blocks. Some of these are kind of complex, so I'll just mention the easy ones so they can actually understand. So this one is the touching blank block. So this is not any ordinary block as like this one, because it would have to be inserted into a Boolean block like the conditional blocks. So this is meaning that this block, along with this one right here, aka the touching blank block and touching color blank block, these are Boolean blocks, which means you have to insert it in somewhere in order to work. So, however, if we were gonna make some code like this, for example, if touching mouse pointer, move 10 steps, so that means it would only do it. Which means it would only do it if it's touching the mouse pointer. Get what I mean? So, however, of course, could be in any condition, of course. Touching color is basically the same thing, but it's just that it has to touch a color. Draggable mode, it would have to be in a forever block, just in order to be actually like draggable forever. And yeah, answer block. This is useful on the if block on conditions like these. Wait, why is this video actually getting so long? Never mind that. Next are these operator blocks, which is the only category that doesn't contain any normal blocks. It just contains either booleans or other stuff like that. So you can just, this is something related to math. And the variable blocks, if you want to add like scores or anything like that, this is the key. And my blocks, you can just make your own block. Sorry for the short explanations for some of these, so yeah, the video ends here, bye.